obsessed with this thing here on YouTube called No Buy Year. I know what you're thinking. We have to buy things. We have to buy toilet paper and food. And yes, this challenge incorporates all that. But essentially, it's people who have taken on a personal challenge to buy less in a year. So what I've gathered, and I'm no expert, so if I'm saying something incorrectly, please educate me in the comments down below. But what I've gathered from these videos, it's people who decide that they're, for whatever reason, whether it's financial or they're just sick of the rat race, whatever it is, they decide that they want to tackle a year with minimal spending. And so they'll establish their own kind of guidelines and structure to how and what they're allowed to buy. For example, let's say I take on the low buy year, but I make videos on YouTube. So I might need to buy SD cards or batteries or insert random thing to make a video here. That is allowed. So most people who do the low buy year will give themselves like, I'm allowed to buy something like shampoo once my shampoo is over and it's finished. I can buy a new shampoo, but I can't buy this excess of things. I can't, have like 50 of it. I can't be in this incredible abundance of consumeristic goods that we tend to have. So I thought it would be fun as a longtime creator here on YouTube and a minimalist myself to make a video on my personal thoughts on the low buy year, no buy year, and if I would do it myself. Now, I will, from the start, tell you I think it's brilliant for some people. Now, I've talked about it in videos before. I have an extreme personality. I have gone into zero waste and minimalism and veganism all pretty much overnight because I love challenges. I love to do something. I read 52 books last year because I love to keep up with these like make-believe challenges that I give myself. So for someone like me, this low buy challenge would be the structure needed to get into minimalism. I actually think I wish I had that when I first got started. But for a lot of people, they might feel deprived, like this isn't allowing them to have fun, etc. So I think that it might be right for a certain kind of person, but that's not to discourage you from trying it yourself. Maybe you will love it. Another thing that I noticed about this movement that I really love is that it's mostly real women, real people talking about this online. Something that I don't really love so much about minimalism and the minimalistic movement, tends to be dominated by single, white, upper middle class white men. And there are exceptions, myself included, but it tends to be a certain kind of group that doesn't have kids being like, you should be a minimalist. And again, there are exceptions. But what I love about this no buy year is that it's mostly just sitting down, chatting, and talking about money. And hello, can we talk more about money? Because why aren't we doing it? Especially as females and young people, we don't talk enough about finances and financial independence. And I love the fact that these women are doing it and talking about it with YouTube and encouraging you to not buy. In a world that's saturated by hauls and look at what I bought here and here and here and here, it's refreshing to see people talking about how they're saving money, how they're buying and consuming less, and what they're doing with their time instead. So I mentioned it briefly, but I think it adds great structure to people who need it. So maybe you're doing a low buy weekend, a low buy month, or a low buy year, but establishing some sort of structure for how you're gonna actually spend money might be exactly what you need in minimalism. See, minimalism is so vague, right? It's like, be minimal, but what does that actually mean to you? So maybe you will know your kind of spending patterns a little bit better and get to know them by doing something like this, by challenging yourself to be conscious of how you spend money. I personally just got done finishing all of my bookkeeping for last year. Oh, super fun adulting stuff. And yes, I had to painstakingly go through every single transaction that I made in a year. Super fun. But I learned a lot about myself. I spend way too much money on coffee, but I already knew that. But I also found that I went to CVS a lot. Mainly because I would be working on a project and I'd realize I need like safety pins, and I lived across the street from a CVS, so I would go to CVS. But if you've ever been to a pharmacy like this, they tend to sell things way more expensive than you'd find them anywhere else. So with a little bit of planning and something like a low buy year, I could have said I only buy materials for my work once a quarter. And maybe once a quarter, I stocked up on the things that I normally need. And I planned ahead and was more conscious and intentional with my spending. So this might be exactly what you need for your minimalistic sustainability journey, is establishing some sort of guidelines. Now, the question we're all been waiting for, but not really, because do you really care? I don't know, is would I take on a low buy, no buy year? And that is no. Because personally, I think that I live a low buy, no buy life. I very rarely go shopping. I don't even go thrift shopping. I hardly even buy like zero waste sustainable swaps. I kind of call BS on this whole industry. I really don't think that you need to be buying a lot of things in general. I buy coffee because I love going out of the house because I work from home. I buy my friends meals because I love spending time with people I love, and that's pretty much about it. Eventually I will like get more furniture and be more of an adult, but for now I'm pretty content with where I'm at, and I don't really feel like I need a lot. So with everything, I think it boils down to gratitude. The more in gratitude you are and the more grateful you are about everything you do have, the less likely you are to want more. So let me know down below, are you gonna take on a low buy, no buy year? I'm very intrigued by this whole movement and what you think about it. And for now, don't forget to live sustainably and consciously, and I will see you in my next video. I don't know why I'm so like hands. I'm sorry. If you hate people who talk with your hands, just don't watch.